keep hearing how everyone in Slay the Spire 2 just kills bosses left and right, finishes the run on their first try, while you are here struggling to go through Act 1, go through elites and kill the first boss, or maybe you can kill the first boss but you never manage to finish the run because always something is going wrong. Well, you are in luck, because today we'll be talking about top 3 mistakes that are completely killing your run, and you might not even be aware of them, because those are sneaky traps. And of course we'll tell you also how to fix it so you can win majority of your runs, and you will also see in the background game where I followed every single advice from this guide, and we so crushed it that I recommend the full run, because this was our best run so far, and you will see every single tip from this video and you will see how massive difference it makes. This was our best run ever. And contrary to the popular belief, luck and RNG are not playing as huge part of those runs as you might think, and you can usually win majority of your runs if you make the right decisions. So with that being said, let's go to the top 3 mistakes that kill your runs. So we are starting with the weakest of all sins, and we'll scale progressively into the one top killer at the end of the video. However, this mistake will still kill your runs, especially in Act 1, because this is one of the big mistakes that a lot of especially new players do, forcing the archetype. I know you want your shiny sword on the Regent or Star build, but you need to adjust, and this is extremely important, because if you get one good card, you should very often change your decision how you will build the whole run. If you get one relic that procs from, for example, playing 3 attacks in a turn, that should make you think about zero cost cards. If you see a super powerful eco form or something like this, well, you probably want to make it cheaper and innate so you can build the whole build around it. Whatever happens during the run should define what you build. And I know it from myself very often, especially on Regent. I really want this huge sword, and whenever I go for it, it's always like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. This will kill a lot of runs. It is relevant to relics, events, and also the main archetype. So for example, for defect, is it orbs or is it claw build? For necrobinder, is it doom? Is it just hitting hard? Or maybe souls? Whenever you get a good card that is worth, like, strong enough to build around, you should consider changing your decision. Of course, if you have 5 cards like this, you probably don't want to pivot unless there's something insane new, and it probably won't be. So then you usually stick to your guns and finish the build. But guys, don't get to a run knowing that you will make a strategy without seeing a single card. It's probably the easiest way to lose run. So now let's go to second mistake that will especially help you to win the first act, because we'll be talking about something a little bit contradictory to the first one, but don't worry, I will explain exactly what I mean. Sometimes you can take a card that doesn't fit your archetype because it is strong on its own, and I will give you exactly, few examples from my runs. Very often you take something that is 2-3 energy and just hits very hard for a lot of damage. Generally the baseline is 1 energy, 6 damage. If you get 3 energy that deals 30, that's 12 extra damage on the usual triple strike. That means you can kill elites way faster, very often take way less damage, and that means you can get more relics in the first act and basically set up your build faster. And guys, it doesn't mean that you need to take every single cool card you are being offered. No, absolutely not. The idea behind this is very simple. You take card that is hitting hard and is extremely above the curve of Act 1, and basically it works without any type of synergy, anything built around it. It's just strong card on its own, and that pushes you through Act 1 while you are building your deck that is probably scaling super hard into the late game in like Act 3, but it's probably super weak in Act 1 when you don't have the cards. So you kinda support your build with something that is strong now and weak later, so your build can be weak now and strong later. So this is a very cool concept that will help you to win a lot of runs, and here I will give you a few examples so you know exactly what type of cards I mean. For Regent, Knockout Blow, Celestial Might, for Ironclad of course the classic Bludgeon, and for defect things like Sunder that just push tons of damage, so you can basically focus on your build while this just wins you the fights, especially the hard ones. And it doesn't need to necessarily be 2 or 3 energy, sometimes one good attack will just help you kill all the elites on the floor and get you to Act 2 very easily. And with that, let's go to the number 1 biggest mistake that kills your runs. Do not take every single card you are being offered. What more? You shouldn't probably take majority of them, and there is huge chance that you are taking way too many. And I'm serious, this is probably the number 1 run killer, because there is huge misconception that the more cool cards you have, the better the deck. While in reality, it's basically the opposite. If you add every single card you are being offered, or even majority of them, well, soon you will start diluting your deck to such a degree that you will start missing on the cards that were building, your main strategy. And this is especially seen with powers in my experience. Like, you have, for example, Eco Form or Serpent Form or something with Sheaves or something like Defragment for, the defect that increases the focus of all the orbs. Those type of cards are probably your backbone that makes the whole strategy tick. If you get to 40 cards because you added everything, well, now you have one good card in 40. And you will need on average 4 turns to draw the first one. And that is if you aren't unlucky. And suddenly your strategy stops working because your main power isn't drawn, the boss is hitting you hard, you don't scale enough, and everything falls apart. You probably had those runs, you most likely know what I'm talking about, and guys, I also had those runs. Let's be honest, each one of us had those. And basically, if you want to add card to your deck, ask yourself a question: is it better than the average draw that you already have? If the answer is nope, it's a little bit worse than, other cards I have, most likely you don't need to add it. Especially if your strategy is already working, make sure you don't dilute it to the point where it stops working. And I personally think this is the biggest run killer, and it's hard to resist those cards. And this is also why you will see in my runs on the channel, very often I say that those cards are really cool and I don't feel we need any of them. Because the strategy is working, why do we add anything? Don't forget you can still increase the power with relics, with shops, events, stuff like this, and very often you just don't need to change anything after like late Act 2 because everything is working. Of course, if you get the perfect card for your build, sure, add to it. Your average got better, but be selective and just don't put everything that looks cool. Even if it fits the archetype, more doesn't mean better. If you have already the main biggest cards, just keep drawing them instead of, the new crappy ones that you probably don't really need to win the run. And guys, I really hope that this guide will help you to win majority of your runs. If you aren't sure how to use those tips in like real gameplay, check out the video that will be recommended at the end of this video. This will be exactly the Regent Run that you are seeing in the background, and the whole purpose of this one, I recorded it just to prove those 3 tips and how they change the gameplay. So I will be explaining everything. It was educational run and we absolutely crushed it. This was, I think, our best, most efficient deck so far in Slay the Spire 2, so even I was surprised how well it went. And guys, I have a huge favor to ask to you. If this guide helped you in any way, I would absolutely be eternally grateful if you liked, subscribed, maybe even hype if you feel extra generous, because we've been making content for Magic the Gathering for over 4 years, but now we will also be making content for Slay the Spire 2, because I absolutely love the game, and the YouTube algorithm has no idea what is going on, so if you like and subscribe, that really does help, and I will be honestly eternally grateful. And guys, good luck on your next run, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.